In national news, we start with the Justice Department has released a summary of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. Natalie Brand reports from Capitol Hill.
Attorney General William Barr released a letter summarizing the findings of Robert Mueller's investigation. The 4-page letter reads, "The special counsel's investigation did not find that the Trump campaign or anyone associated with it conspired or coordinated with Russia in its efforts to influence the 2016 U.S. presidential election." Barr's letter also says Mueller looked into possible obstruction of justice charges against President Trump. The direct quote reads, "While this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it also does not exonerate him." The special counsel deferred to the Justice Department to make that determination. Barr says he and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein decided the evidence is not sufficient to establish the president obstructed justice.
It was a complete and total exoneration. It's a shame that our country had to go through this.
Democrats say the entire Mueller report should be released and are promising a legal fight if it isn't.
We will ask the Attorney General to testify before the House Judiciary Committee. The American people are entitled to a full accounting of the president's misconduct referenced by the special counsel.
Mueller's team brought charges against 34 individuals, including former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort and former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. But as the president's supporters noted, none of the former campaign associates were accused of colluding with the Kremlin to influence the election. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The White House says the president has not seen the full report from the special counsel, only the letter from the Attorney General. Now, we reached out to our Montana U.S. senators for their response, and here's what they had to say. Steve Daines said after 2 years of investigations, thousands of subpoenas and hundreds of interviews, the special counsel has found that President Trump and his campaign did not conspire or coordinate with Russia's interference in the 2016 election. Daines said, "I'm glad this investigation is concluded and look forward to having the report made as public as possible in accordance with the law and national security." And Senator John Tester shared his response, saying now that the special counsel has submitted his report, the American people deserve transparency from the government. The report should be made public without delay. New tonight, we are learning more about how law enforcement involved in a shooting spree more than a week ago debriefed from such a traumatic incident. The shooting killed 1 man and injured 3 others, including Montana Highway Patrol Trooper Wade Palmer. MHP says a few days after the shooting, they held a critical incident debriefing for those involved in a critical incident to talk about concerns. About 40 members of law enforcement attended the brief. They also had roughly 5 peer support troops there who did an outstanding job reaching out to the entire district. The patrol has troopers trained in peer support that have been made available to their colleagues. Captain Chad Dever, who supervises the patrol's peer support program, says, quote, "After a traumatic experience, our bodies are full of negative chemicals. The best way to rid ourselves of these and feel better are water, exercise, and rest." He also said the simple act of talking about experiences has proven to be very therapeutic. And earlier this week, the public was warned about a scam targeting people who wanted to reach out and help the family of Trooper Wade Palmer. Now, one Montana business decided to host a fundraiser offering people a chance to donate and maintain peace of mind knowing their money will make it to the families. MTN's Lauren Heiser reports.
After scammers attempted to extort money out of people hoping to help recent shooting victims, one Missoula family is offering a way to contribute that feels a bit safer than donating directly online. Kirsten England and her husband own Exit 96 Shine Truck and RV Wash, and on April 7th, all of the profits from their operation will be given to the families affected by the shootings on the 14th and 15th of March.
Sometimes in the wake of a situation like this, you just feel helpless on what to do. I feel as an owner of a business, you have more of an opportunity to give back so that we can open up that avenue for others to come and know that 100% of whatever they give that day is going to the victims and their families.
The hours of operation that day are 8 to 5, but employees say the wash will remain open as long as people are still there and hoping to donate.
It's a tough time, not just for one victim, but for all 4 victims in different ways. So I think anything that we can do to help them I think is really important, not just for us, but this entire community here. Thoughts and prayers are important, but they only go so far.
All cars, trucks, and even motorcycles are welcome, but you don't have to wash a vehicle to contribute.
In Missoula, Lauren Heiser, MTN News.
And Lauren says the money raised will be divided up equally between the families. Closer to home, Crow Tribe Chairman A.J. Not Afraid Jr. declared a state of emergency for the entire Crow Tribe earlier this evening, warning weather, spring runoff, and flooding conditions contributed to the decision to declare a state of emergency. In a release today, Not Afraid said the flooding conditions constitute a threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the Crow Reservation. He adds that all provisions of the Crow Tribal Emergency Operations Plan were implemented on Friday earlier this week. Ice and flooding also have been a concern in the Glendive area. Bailey Gibbs, a rancher, shot this video on Saturday while checking his land. DES coordinator Mary Jo Geiner says yesterday a flooded road kept people from getting to town, but no one was in danger. No structures have been threatened, and conditions have improved today.
We do have a little slushy ice coming down right now that I believe is from that jam that was at Hathaway. Broke loose sometime yesterday, but I do not believe there's any threat with that. The ice that we had yesterday, the biggest portion of that I truly believe came from the Tongue River. The Powder River had a lot of ice on it this year also that pushed into the Yellowstone. This is probably more ice than I've seen in a while.
And with the warm weather that we have been getting in the last week, all the snow that came in February is starting to melt. As you've seen, this large amount of snow melt is in the Gallatin Valley can cause some serious issues for homeowners. But as MTN's Medeiros Babb finds out, there are steps you can take to prevent this damage.
Flooding could occur, flooding might not occur, we don't know. But we know that risk exists. And really, the key message for this time of year is we want to keep the water flowing.
With springtime coming into full swing, the snow is melting and waterways are flowing. Gallatin County Chief of Emergency Management Patrick Lonergan says it is crucial that homeowners stay prepared so that water doesn't flow into their homes.
You know, once that flooding occurs, the damage is done. So time spent on the front end and being proactive on instituting your protective measures can go a long ways.
Lonergan says because there is more snow in the valley than usual, precautionary measures are a must.
Make sure that, you know, if you've got vents into your crawl space or you have basement windows, that the snow is not up against those. So as it melts, it has less of a chance of impacting your basement.
Another way to prevent flooding is through the use of sandbags by placing them as barriers to stop water from damaging your home. In Bozeman, Medeiros Babb, MTN News.
Thanks, Medeiros. More to come tonight on the Q2 10 o'clock news. We show you how one Montana livestock auction yard is helping create better herds for ranchers across the state. And in sports, we'll hit the slopes where one woman is proving age is just a number. A story you won't want to miss.
You're watching MTN News with Zoe Zandora, Storm Tracker weather with Rob Griggs, and sports with Casey Conlon. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.